Hey guys and girls, folks, welcome along. I thought I was basically gonna do a quick tutorial on drums, UK garage, four to the floor, 4/4, whatever you want to call it, drum patterns, and what I would do to make the beat sound as big and as large as possible before I do anything else. So I'm going to run you through what I do and the sort of process. It's going to be probably about a half-hour video, um, and also the lots of the sounds I'm going to be using you can get in the description below. I'm giving away quite a lot of sounds I've collected over a long period of time. There's loops, hats, kicks, snares, all sorts. So download that. I'm going to be using quite a lot of sounds from that. Um, so anyway, let's get started. We've got a blank page here in Logic. Um, I know lots of you use Ableton and FL, but it's essentially the same process that you can do in order to get this kind of sound. So first of all, I'm going to go to well, to make sure you can all hear me when I go onto a different track here. So I'm not sure how many of you have got the plugin called Kick. It's a great little plugin. Sonic Academy, Nicky Romero, and usually a go-to for the kick drums. So obviously, I think we have to work out what kind of kick drum we want. Something I find really useful is the multimeter on the stereo channel. So I like to see what frequencies my samples are hitting at. So there we go. Right, so go through some kicks. Let's try this one. Okay, looking for something a bit more punchy. So I'm going to go to these D and B kicks. And I really like that kick. It's kind of got an all-roundness to it. So you can see on the multimeter, it's hitting around 125 hertz and then tailing off lower. It's nice and fat. So let's start with getting this kick in. And also, we're going to sort out the tempo because this is at 120, so we're going to put it up to 128, I guess. I am going to quantize this, and I've been asked before about which quantize people should use in Logic and Ableton. There are two different quantizers that I use. I mean, for the straight kicks and the claps, I use 16 notes on, so it is on the grid. It's hitting bang on. There's no delay in it. Let me just copy this. Okay, two more. Okay, so I'm going to make all of these kicks the same velocity as you see down here. I'll select them all. It's a bit hard with this mic in my hand, so bear with me, guys. So in Logic, this shortcut is velocity tool, select all of them, and then it's Alt Shift, and it makes them all the same volume. So this is 16 notes on quantize. So I select that 16 notes on, and then we've got our kick. So let's have a listen. Now, for kicks, basically what I always do is I'm gonna send my kick to a bus, so, your next spare bus, and I'm gonna turn it into mono. I find that the kick and the low frequencies, if they're in mono, they're a lot more defined and punchy when it comes to playing out and in clubs and stuff like that. So your low end sub and kicks should be in mono. So I've gone ahead and I've done that, and I'm gonna make sure my kicks hitting at about -3 dBs there. So I'm gonna go on to finding some claps. So I'm going to load up the ESX24, and again you can download all of the samples that I'm using. They're called P samples. Let's see. I'm going to just type in SNR, and these are your snares. So here we got snares. So these are all the snares you can get. These are all banks actually that go into the ESX24, but the download is actually the WAVs in these folders. So P snares 1 will have a ton of snares on each key, and it goes on. So I'll try and put this on. So we've got a ton of snares there. I guess what we're looking for, what I'd usually look for next is a clap. So I'm going to search my ESX24. Clap. Okay, so got a few different sounds there. These are sort of more open claps, but we're looking for something a bit more tighter. Like that's not bad. That's not bad, but it's basically lacking that snap, that high mid frequencies. That's pretty good. Let's have a listen to that. Kinda not very loud. Okay, I'm going to put that in. Bear with me. So again, these claps are going to be on 16, the note on. So they're hitting exactly the same point as the kicks. So they're on the grid. They're exactly on the grid at 16 notes on. So we can see at the moment sounding like the kick is very overpowering. So what we can do is put a bit of EQ on the clap. So I'm going to go to my Waves plugins. I'm going to go to the G channel, SSL G channel, and here, as we saw from the sample, there you go, I'm back. So what I'm saying, I just literally filtered the low end of that clap. There wasn't much, but I just took the all of it out. The next thing I'm going to do is make this clap a little louder by EQing it. So now with these with EQ, to me it's always got like a biting point. The sound has got a biting point, and sometimes you need to really EQ it, overdo it to find that point. So this is what I'm going to try and do now. Okay, I'm going to give it some tops as well, which the frequencies they're so high, but it just gives it more of a sheen. That's a very high frequency, but you see where I'm getting at. Now, if you look at the multimeter, just by doing that, the clap is just as loud as the kick. It's sounding more in tune with it. It's louder because there's more bite to it. So you can control volume by EQ, or you can control volume by volume. So I could have just turned that up, but you wouldn't have had the punch of those. It would be, I would have just literally gone, right, that needs to be turned up, and I would have just done this. Okay, but instead we've got the volume by EQ. Now, when you got your kick and your clap playing, lots of people have got this problem where the clap and the kick are peaking the stereo bus like this. This is my stereo bus here, and it's peaking when the clap is hitting. Now, there's quite a few ways you can get around this, but I have found a great plugin that basically deals with that. It's the Apogee Soft Limiter, and if I put the soft limiter on this, it's a free plugin, by the way. You just go to the Apogee site and you can grab this. So there you go. This is the Apogee. Now, if I put that to 0, so you can see the master bus is peaking here. If I put the soft limit on it, it actually reduces it, but it's just as loud. So it's a great little tool. So yeah, that's an absolutely free plugin. So now we're going to get the hi-hats in. Bear with me. Right, yep, again, these hats you can download in the description, totally free. There's a ton of sounds, so yeah, I thought, we're gonna use them so that you can see what you're downloading as well. So yeah, with the hats, I look for hats basically to be hitting a frequency of around, like I used to make sure that they hit kind of like at around 1K, 2K, but actually I've found that choosing hats that are more at 6K works so much better. It's cleaner. There's room for all of your sort of mid-range sounds, and I'll show you what I mean. So we've got a load of hats here. Okay, so look at this hat here. It's hitting, from 500 all the way up to, so it's quite a, it's quick. It's not an open hat. See this one here? It's hitting more of where I want it to be, but it's still got the sort of knock and the click in the mid frequencies. Now you see that's kind of hitting at around that mark. So I'm going to hear how this sounds with our drums. I actually like this one too. See, that's hitting at 6K. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Straight hat. So again, what I'm going to do is use the EQ to boost that 6K area and to make it in proportion with what the sounds, the volume of the sounds we've just EQ'd and put in. So let's try that. Okay, so where are we? 6K. Now the thing with mixing, um, it's just as important that you take frequencies away that are not necessarily, well, they don't need to be there. So for example, if you just play this, the hat on its own, it's a bit tricky here with this mic. I don't know. I keep turning myself off, so I've just got to be careful. Sorry about this. So where was I? Right. The the hats. Okay. So if I play the hats on it, it's going to show me there's still frequencies hitting here. This is my voice, obviously, but I'm going to try and just get rid of those. And it's probably not essential. You can't hear them anyway. But what you do want to avoid, and what you want to eliminate totally by taking or filtering out bass frequencies. Have you ever been in a club and you've seen the speakers and a track comes on and you've seen the bass unit literally shaking like that when um, there's no sort of bass sounds playing? That's because people haven't filtered out the low end of their other sounds. So you need to make sure you do that, and then you eliminate those sounds. So the eliminating frequencies is just as important as boosting frequencies. It's even more important. I mean, that's how those guys on submarines, they, when they work with sonar and, like the FBI and whatever, they eliminate frequencies so that they can hear more clearly the frequencies that they should be hearing. So, hope that makes sense. But so yeah, we've just boosted the hi-hat. It's quite a lot. So right now we're looking, quite balanced, as in the kick is loud and proud, the clap is up there, and the hi-hat is hitting, but they're all hitting at these three different frequencies. So mid, high, low. That's good balance. Okay, so all of these, like I was saying earlier, the quantizer's 16 note on. Now, obviously we're not going to leave the beat like this. So what normally happens next is you would use more syncopated sounds, as in the little clips of the hi-hats that make up the grooves now. So these bits here, in Logic I always put on 16 swing C, and I find that fits in with most tracks when you're mixing, like one track with another track. Like if you've got it on D, E, F, what happens is you get really hard to, people basically are put off because your track is harder to mix than other people's. You get those tracks you love the tune, but the swing on it it's very hard to mix with something else. So I always just stay safe. Use 16C. If you're in Ableton, we worked it out the other day that your 16C Logic was actually in Ableton Live too, but it was under a setting that wasn't called Logic. I mean, it's quite easy to Google. I actually forget now because I don't use Ableton, but there is a swing that matches the Logic 16C, and I always use that for house and UK garage. It's the safest quantize mode, I would say. So, so we're gonna get these little bits in now. So I'm just going to put this in quickly. So this is what I'm going to show you about the swing. So at the moment it's on 16C. If it was on 16, it would just sound like too mechanical. So you want the swing. If you put it on 16 swing F, it's going to be hard to mix with other tracks. So 16C, I always use. So 16C on all of your syncopated parts. So basically you're talking these hi-hats, the snares that we're going to put in, the bass line, the sounds, the stabs, you would all put those on 16C swing, especially with UK garage. So what we're going to do now is find some snares. Again, this is like my library here, so there are tons and tons of snares here. Tons. Snares, there you go. I'm just going to choose any one of these and we'll have a play about. Oh. Okay, I'm just going to put this in quickly. So these are all on 16C here. Okay, so we want the bar to just be doubled here, and then have something different going on through this beat. So. Not sure why it's just changed my hi-hat, but hang on. Okay, I see what's happened. Okay, yeah, so I just literally I duplicated the hi-hat instead of the snare track, so I've got them all separately now. So, what have we got? Okay, so the other thing I wanted to put in was some high shakers or really high pitched fast hats or shakers. So let's try and do that. Okay, so the next thing that I would like to do, I told you I put the kick on earlier on a bus channel that was on in mono. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to group all of the hats as well. So now they're all coming out of the a solo bus, which is right here. Going to do the same with the snares. So I'm going to put those on their own bus as well. On these two channels. And what is this? Okay, that's our kick. Okay, so let's open up the mixer page. And you can see right here is my kick. These are all my snares. Okay, now the next part of the process that I use or do to make these drums sound even bigger, louder and better is not side changing, parallel compression. Now I'm going to show you how to do this, but essentially you have to have your kick on a bus channel, and then from this bus channel, so this is my bus channel that my kick is being sent to. It will basically, I'm going to send it from my bus channel to a bus channel up here. So it's just created it here. It's just created it here. And this is the send to it. So I'm going to turn that up, and what that's going to do is the signal's going to come up on this channel too. So at the moment you're having two signals playing through your stereo channel, but on this you're going to put a compressor. And what we're going to do, we're going to turn the attack down and the release down as well, so that it comes on and turns off quickly. And what that does is give the kick a bite behind it, a more of a signal just for that first millisecond or so of the of the kick triggering. So this is the difference it makes. So this is my kick. I'm going to turn that bus channel down and turn this up, and watch how it starts to sound better and bigger. So I use that on my kick, and also I use it on the drums. So I'm gonna send this. Now remember as well, if you've got your kick in mono, which I showed you should have earlier, I've sent it to a mono bus, and you may have to make sure that this is the bus you're sending to is mono as well. So my snares and my hats aren't in mono, so I'm just going to simply send those to a different bus. I'm going to turn that up, but this will be a stereo bus. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a compressor on, but this time it's going to be stereo. And I'm going to make sure that this is maybe I'm going to put it on a really harsh setting so that you can hear the difference with and without. So that's for the hats, was it? Let's see. Okay, that's the hats. So the hats are being sent to here. That's without. This is with. If I put it on a harsh setting here, like all the way here, and then put the ratio all the way up, you're going to hear, this is what it does. So, louder, better, that's what we want. We want loudness, we want more coming through that signal without affecting the overall peak. And there are going to be some things we have to, test and train and, calm down. But it is sometimes trial and error, and it's like taming a wild beast or animal. And these are the sort of kind of things you can do to just get levels and to make sure that your drums are sounding on par with other producers that are using these techniques, because a lot of people are, and if you're not, your tracks are not going to be sounding as big. Okay, so let's see. We've got the hats in there. Do the same with the claps. Where's my claps? There we are. +5. Okay, where the hell is it? Oh, okay, right, so it's not even on the bus yet. So I can just put that on the same as the snares, I guess. So now, if I turn all these down slightly, also I'm taking the click off. So we've got some pretty fat sounding drums. There's another plugin that I use called Ulean, that's totally free as well. This Ulean loudness meter. So this is what it does. So you see we've got That's only my voice peaking this stereo bus at the moment. Um, okay, now what I wanted to do is do a bit more in treating the kick sound. We basically haven't EQ'd it. It's a nice volume. It's got a nice hit to it. Um, Now, what plugins I use for the kick? I would sometimes, or usually, use a tiny bit of the SSL compressor. So this is my kick channel. I'm gonna go to waves, compressor mono. And EQ wise, actually, I'm going to show you a different plugin. I'm going to show you a different plugin because it's great, and I'm using it on everything at the moment. So it's the Puig Tech. Let's have a look. So Puig Puig Tech. There you go. So the EQP1A. This is just it's dangerous. I don't know what it does, but it just does something. So if you wanted to boost the kick, without affecting the signal, you want to boost the kick, use this. You put the boost up 2 or 3. You put a 10. Oh, there you go. 3. Up to a similar point. You've also got the opportunity or chance to use it at 60 hertz, which is lower. It's going to boost a lower frequency. But because our kick is signaling and biting around the 100 mark, we're going to leave that. But this is a great plugin. Now we can also okay, so that's what I would do before I'd basically start placing music and sounds. I would try and get this your beats half done, mixed before using any more sounds. And that way, whatever you're putting in now, from now, your bass and everything it will have to be a fat, a really amazing sound to make um, sense of a really fat drum beat, I guess. I know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, I think doing your beats and mixing them first, it saves you lots of trouble later on down the line when it comes to mixing. And um, I always try and do as good a mix down on the drums before anything, or as I'm going along. Um, what else? Anything else that I can add? Um, no. Split your drums up. Use parallel compression. Um, make use of these plugins, and yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video and stay subscribed in tune for the next one. Sorry, it's like early Saturday morning, so yeah, maybe I've not been so with it, but hopefully it's still some good info for you. So yeah, thank you for all your support, and keep making those tunes and keep being inspired by uh, what you're hearing and what you're listening to. Okay?